Hello everyone, welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Saturday, so we're going to be doing some starts and sits for every matchup, going through each individual matchup, talking about the players involved in them, and then whether I would start them or sit them. I'll give a little bit of context as well, but once again, if you guys have any more questions at all regarding starts and sits in general, just be sure to leave them in the comments. Be sure to leave what the scoring format is for your league as well. It just helps out because some guys are more valuable in PPR and some guys are more valuable in non-PPR. But without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start off with the Colts and the Texans. So on the Colts side, we got Phillip Rivers. He's a borderline start. He's a guy you could stream this week if you need to, but if you have a better option, definitely go with your better option. The Colts running backs, I'm not too excited about any of these guys just because Frank Wright likes to ride with the hot hand. We don't know who's going to get the ball. Nyheim Hines could be like a running back 2 flex play in PPR formats. Jonathan Taylor is a running back 2 flex play in pretty much most formats. He's kind of a boom bust guy though. He's actually my running back sit of the week just because I think it looks like a good matchup on paper, but we don't know where the touches are going to go. So he could pay off or he could end up with 10 touches for 30 yards. Then Jordan Wilkins, I'm going to sit him. He's a guy I like to stash on the end of my bench if I can, though, just in case this situation changes for the Colts. Michael Pittman Jr., he's going to be a start for me. It should be a very, very good matchup for him, especially with Bradley Roby missing in Houston. And then we got T.Y. Hilton. He's going to be a sit. Colts tight ends, I'm sitting as well. Colts defense, you can play in this one. Just kind of tamper your expectations a little bit. Deshaun Watson is a very, very good player. Once again, I'm just going to mention the kickers if something notable has changed. On the Texans side, I'm starting Deshaun Watson unless I have a clear better option. He's just too talented. I know he's gone up against good defenses this year, and he's still performed pretty well. David Johnson's going to be back in the lineup. I'm probably going to sit him. It's a bad matchup overall. We don't know how often he's going to be on the field. But if you don't have a better option, I understand why you would start him. Duke Johnson's going to be the same way. He's going to be a sit unless you have no clear better option. I think we could see a little bit of them both in the game at the same time. Maybe one kind of in the slot, one kind of as the running back. 2 lined up in the backfield. I think they'll get real creative with these two, especially now that Bill O'Brien has been gone. Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator, he's done a pretty good job being creative on offense. Brandon Cooks is going to be a start. Kiki QT, he takes over as one of the starters at wide receiver with Will Fuller's suspension now. I think he'll have some value later on, but not this week. Texans tight ends, I just don't trust any of them at this point, so they're going to be sits as well. Texans defense, still not very good, is going to be a sit. Then we got the Falcons and the Saints. So on the Falcons side, we got Matt Ryan. He's going to be a sit for me. He didn't perform very well last time he played the Saints, so especially if Julio Jones does not play, he's not worth it when Julio doesn't play. Todd Gurley's going to be a game-time decision once again. It sounded positive earlier in the week, but it sounds like he's trending towards not playing. So now you got Brian Hill, Ito Smith again. Not excited about playing either one of those this week against the Saints, so I'd sit both of them. Then we got Julio Jones game-time decision once again. If he plays, you start him. If he doesn't, you sit him. Pretty simple. Calvin Ridley, I'm going to start. Hayden Hurst is a guy that I'm not too fond of this week. I'm going to sit him unless I have no better option. If there's nobody better else to pick up on waivers. He's just been so hit or miss this year, honestly. Falcons defense is going to be a sit. I'll give them props that they've been playing better lately, though. And then we got Taysom Hill, the quarterback. I think you could start him in this matchup. He did pretty well the first time around. Alvin Kamara. He's a start. I know a lot of people are talking about sitting him. If you have the luxury to have enough good running backs that you do not need to play Alvin Kamara, congratulations to you. But his ceiling is just so massive, and I think it's going to get a little bit better this week. Latavius Murray, he's kind of like that borderline start, low-end running back 2, flex play if you need to. If you're playing the standard format, I prefer him in that format. And then we got Michael Thomas. He's going to be a start. Emmanuel Sanders is a sit. Jared Cook's a sit. He's barely been playing lately, honestly. He's losing snaps to both Adam Troutman and Josh Hill. Just something to note. Saints defense, they were very good last time against the Falcons. I expect more of the same, so they're going to be a start. Then we got the Lions and the Bears. Matthew Stafford, he's going to be a sit. Bears defense is pretty good. Kenny Galladay's out once again. Big news here is DeAndre Swift. He passed concussion protocol, but he's been down with illness lately. And he's actually been downgraded to doubtful for this game, so we're going to sit him. Adrian Peterson, Kerryon Johnson. You could get cute and play them, but I'm not doing it unless I'm desperate, so I'm going to be setting both of them. Kenny Galladay is a sit. He's not playing once again. Marvin Jones, he's going to be a sit for me as well. Danny Amendola could be a sneaky start in a deeper PPR league. He's going to play the slot. Buster Screens had some troubles there this year, so he could be a start in that situation, but otherwise you're sitting him. TJ Hawkinson's a start for me. Lions defense is a sit. Then the Bears side, we got Mitchell Trubisky. He's actually a streaming quarterback. The Lions defense is not good, and he always plays well against the Lions for some reason. So if you need to play him, you can start him. If not, you probably have a better option out there to you. David Montgomery is going to be a start. Very easy start here. Should be a good matchup for him. Allen Robinson is a smash start, especially with Jeffrey Okudah out once again for the Lions. Darnell Mooney, he had a little bit of a knee injury this week, but they held him out of practice, just kind of precautionary reasons, it sounds like. So he'll be a go. Him and Miller, I'm going to sit both of them. And then we got Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet. I'm sitting both these guys. Kmet's been playing more, but he's not getting the targets. So I can't trust either one of these guys at this point. Bears defense is obviously a start. Then we got the Browns and the Titans. On the Browns side, Baker Mayfield, he's kind of like a streamable guy in this matchup. Should be a decent matchup for him, but you probably have a better option available to you. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I'm honestly going to start both these guys in this matchup. I think Kareem Hunt has a lot of value if they get down in this game, and Nick Chubb always has value as the starter. Then we have Jarvis Landry. He's kind of like a borderline guy for me. Could be a pretty good matchup for him. If he lines up in the slot, I would assume Desmond King covers him, so it kind of cancels it out a little bit. Rashard Higgins, he's going to be a sit, but he's a guy that if you're in a deeper league, you could take a look at, especially if the Browns get down in this game. Carter Earl Hodge is going to be out, so Higgins should see a little bit more volume. If you're looking for DFS guys, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones gets a little bit of a boost up in that regard as well. Austin Hooper, you can start him unless you have a better option. And then the Browns defense is going to be a sit. Ryan Tannehill is a start. Derrick Henry is always a start. A.J. Brown's going to be a start. He had a little bit of an injury in practice this week, but it looks like he'll be good to go. Corey Davis, I think you could start him in this matchup once again as well. And then Jonnu Smith's going to be out, knee injury, so you're going to sit him. Titans defense, I'm going to sit as well. Then we got the Bengals and the Dolphins. On the Bengals side, Brandon Allen starting once again. He's going to be a sit. Joe Mixon's still on IR, so he's going to be a sit. Gio Bernard, I think you can play in this matchup, especially if you're playing in PPR format. Low-end running back 2 flex play type of option. So if you don't have anybody better to throw in there, he can go out and he can play all right. And he should at least get you double-digit points. A.J. Green's going to be a sit. T. Higgins is a sit. Tyler Boyd's kind of like a low-end wide receiver 3, flex play type of guy to me. Out of all their wide receivers in this matchup, he probably has the best matchup against the Dolphins. The Dolphins have kind of struggled against slot wide receivers in the past, so that would fit the bill for Tyler Boyd. Then Drew Sample, he's going to be a sit. Just keep an eye out on him because he's actually been getting a little more targets with Brandon Allen under center. If that trend continues, he's a guy we could look at in the future weeks and possibly even in DFS. Bengals defense is going to be a sit. I would consider them in DFS if Tua starts this game. But if it was up to me, I would start Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to end up starting in this game based on all the circumstances around it. Tua's still got that injury, so I think Fitzpatrick's going to start. If Fitzpatrick starts, you're going to start him. A very good stream-worthy candidate there. And then we got to talk about the Dolphins running backs, and boy, it's a mess. Salvin Ahmed, shoulder injury. Limited in practice all week, doubtful to play, so he's going to be a sit. Then we got Matt Breida, right? He's the next guy up. He's on the COVID list now, so he's going to be a sit. Honestly, you could probably drop him at this point if you have him. And then we have DeAndre Washington. I believe he hasn't practiced all week with a hamstring injury, so he's going to be a sit as well. Then you got Myles Gaskin. He's on IR, been practicing a little bit, could return in this game. I'm pretty much sitting him either way unless you're really, really desperate at running back because Brian Flores, the head coach, has come out and said even when he comes back, they're going to split up the touches. So he's not a guy I'm excited about playing. If Myles Gaskin does not play, though, Patrick Laird, if you're in a PPR league, he's a guy that's going to be able to get you double-digit points. So if you need that and you have a hole at running back, he's a guy I would consider picking up, especially today, picking up, see how it rolls out tomorrow. You can throw him in if you need to. Then Devontae Parker. If Ryan Fitzpatrick is the quarterback, I'm smashing Devontae Parker all day. And then Jakeem Grant, he's going to be a sit. Just not enough volume there. Mike Gesicki, he looks like a good matchup on paper. He is actually my tight end sit of the week. I called it the biggest trap play of the century. Because Mike Gesicki, yeah, it's a great matchup. You think he's going to smash, but you just can't trust him. He's just like Mr. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or whatever you want to call it. Just can't trust him. Dolphins defense is obviously a start. Then we got the Vikings and the Jaguars. Kirk Cousins, he is a start. Honestly, this Jacksonville defense is terrible. Their corners that they're going to be rolling out once again in this game are the same as last week that got torched. Dalvin Cook's a start. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, they're both starts. Like I said, this defense is not pretty by any means. Kyle Rudolph, you could start if you don't have a better option, but I don't think he's going to get enough volume to matter with Thielen back now. So I'm going to sit him. Irv Smith, you're sitting. He's going to be out once again. Vikings defense is kind of interesting in this game. You could probably stream them if you needed to, but I think you have a better option out there. Then we got Mike Glennon. He's going to be a sit. James Robinson's going to be a start. DJ Chark could be a start. He's going to be back in this game. I think it'll be interesting to see how he plays out. If you need to play him kind of as a wide receiver 3 type, you can start him. Laviska Shenault, Keelan Cole, I'm going to set both of them. Mike Glennon didn't really do too much with either one of them last week. Tyler Eifert is an interesting guy to me. I think he's a streamable tight end this week. Glennon kind of looked to him last week. He did get the touchdown. If he gets a touchdown again this week, he could definitely pay off. And for DFS, he's a guy I like this week. Jaguars defense is going to be a sit. Aldrak Rojas came back as the kicker last week, so he's going to be the kicker this week again, I would assume. Then we got the Jets and the Raiders. Sam Darnold's going to be a sit. Frank Gore's kind of like a low-end running back 2, flex play. If you need to play somebody, he's kind of like that Patrick Laird situation. If you need somebody to fill in a hole and get you like double-digit points, he's your guy. Just don't expect him to get 20 points. Brashard Perriman, he's actually an interesting wide receiver 3 type this week. He's been getting the targets, done pretty well. Denzel Mims, he's going to be a sit for me. Jamison Crowder's going to be a sit. Sam Darnold had great chemistry with him at the beginning of the year, but he's just not seeing the targets right now to matter enough. Chris Herndon, still a sit. Jets defense is going to be a sit as well. Sergio Castillo is still going to be the kicker in this game. Sam Ficken is on IR. Then we got Derek Carr. I'm going to start him. Honestly, he's a streamable quarterback this week. I know he burned a lot of people last week, but he's going to come out firing because that happened last week. And the Raiders are going to be without Josh Jacobs, so he's going to be a sit. Devontae Booker is a must start for me. I told you guys like 2 weeks ago to pick this guy up for when Josh Jacobs got hurt, and obviously that came true now. So if you were one of the people that listened to me, take advantage of this matchup. Then we got Henry Ruggs. I think he could have a decent game if he hits on a couple long shots. Could definitely possible against this Jets defense, but he's not a guy I'm looking to start this week. Nelson Aguilar, he's kind of a streamable wide receiver 3 type of guy. You can start him if you need to. Then Darren Waller is going to be a start, and the Raiders defense is also a start. Then we got the Rams and the Cardinals. We got Jared Goff. He's going to be a sit for me. These Rams running backs, Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers. I'm not excited about any of these guys this week. I'm going to set them all. Obviously, they're all pretty bad last week besides 161-yard run, I believe it was, by Cam Akers. But I just don't trust any of them until one of them really breaks out. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. You're going to start both these guys this week. I honestly think this is going to be a defensive game, so just kind of tamper your expectations for them as well. Tyler Higbee, Jared Everett, I'm going to set both of them. Rams defense, I'm going to start the Rams defense this week. I think it's fairly safe, especially with Kyler banged up. Kyler Murray, he's actually my quarterback star of the week, so if you have somebody available that's better than him this week, you can play them. If you got a Kirk Cousins, I'd roll Kirk Cousins out there over him this week. There should be a couple other options that you can consider. If you don't have one of them options, then you can play Kyler. Just kind of tamper your expectations for him. He hasn't been quite as good since he hurt his shoulder, and he's not running as much. Kenyon Drake, I think you can start in this matchup. I think he'll be all right. Kind of running back 2 numbers. Chase Edmonds, kind of running back 2, flex play type of game. If they get behind, he could have some volume and be effective in PPR. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a start. Christian Kirk is going to be a sit. Larry Fitzgerald has still not been activated off the COVID list. I don't think this affects fantasy too much because you probably weren't starting him anyways, but just sit him either way. Cardinals tight ends are going to be a sit. Cardinals defense could actually be a little bit of a sneaky play in this one. Then we got the Seahawks and the Giants. Russell Wilson's obviously a start. Chris Carson's a start. Carlos Hyde's going to be a sit. Carson and Hyde were a little bit banged up in practice this week, but they'll both end up playing. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, both starts. Pretty easy there. I will say whoever James Bradbury covers the most will probably have a little bit of a down game, but Bradbury typically does not shadow, so them moving around will definitely help Seattle. Then we got Will Disley, Jacob Hollister. I'm not starting either one of these guys. Seattle's defense, I think you can play them this week, and they should be pretty good. The Giants aren't going to be that good overall on offense, and then Colt McCoy is probably going to be the quarterback, which leads us into the next thing. Daniel Jones is going to be a sit. Looks like he's not going to play. We get Colt McCoy. Please do not play Colt McCoy. Honestly, the last time he played, he had like 70 yards for Washington when he was their quarterback for like a whole game. That's awful. Wayne Gallman, I think he can play in this one. He should get some touches. Should be pretty useful there. Running back 2, flex play type of guy. Sterling Shepard, I kind of like as a wide receiver 3 or a flex play this week. I think he's going to get a lot of the underneath work. Darius Slayton's going to be a sit for me. He probably would be my wide receiver sit of the week if I didn't already have one picked out. Golden Tate, he just hasn't connected with the new coaching staff, and he's going to be a sit. Evan Ingram, you could probably play in this matchup. Shouldn't be too bad overall. Giants defense is obviously going to be a sit. Then we got the Eagles and the Packers. And honestly, I'm looking at the Eagles side, and I'm not really excited about any of these guys. Miles Sanders is the one I would start, but the rest of them I'm pretty much sitting. Carson Wentz has been bad. Alshon Jeffrey's not getting any targets. Fulgham, after his big couple weeks, he hasn't done much. Jalen Reagor's looking like a rookie wide receiver. Dallas Goedert, you could probably play, but I'd rather go with a different tight end now that Zach Ertz is going to be back this week. Ertz, I'm not going to trust week 1 coming back, and the Eagles defense, you do not want to play against the Packers offense. So pretty much it's Miles Sanders and nobody else on the Eagles side. Then on the Packers side, we got Aaron Rodgers, start him up, light him up. Aaron Jones, keep starting him. Devontae Adams, start him again. MVS, Allen Lazard, I'm going to sit both them this week. I just don't think either one of them will have enough volume to matter in this game. Robert Tonyan, I do like as a tight end. The Eagles have struggled against tight ends so far this year, so you can start Tonyan. And then the Packers defense, you can actually stream the Packers defense in this matchup once again. Carson Wentz has been awful this year, so it could be an advantage for the Packers defense and creating some turnovers. Then we got the Chargers and the Patriots. We got Justin Herbert. He is going to be a start for me. I think he's not going to have the best game in the world, but he should be still probably top 12 worthy. Kalen Ballage, he's been practicing a little bit this week. It sounds like he'll be back, but there isn't many news updates about it. I'm still going to set him either way. Austin Eckler's back, so you're obviously going to start him if you got him. Mike Williams, I don't like Mike Williams in this matchup. Keenan Allen, you're going to start. Hunter Henry, I think you can start against the Patriots too. They haven't been the greatest against tight ends this year, honestly. They've been good at not allowing them to score touchdowns, so that's the one thing about it. And then the Chargers defense, I'm going to sit. Cam Newton, I think you can start as a low-end quarterback 1 this week, honestly. Patriots running backs, Damian Harris is actually my start of the week this week. Chargers haven't been too good against the run, so I think he'll have a pretty good game. Sony Michel's going to be a sit. He only played 1 play last week. James White, I don't know if he's going to have enough work to be involved in this game. There's 2 different game scripts that could happen in this game if the Patriots control the ball with their run. Damian Harris is going to be a big play in that. If they get behind to the Chargers for some reason, then James White could have some volume. And James White's pretty much a PPR only type of guy. But with that being said, I'd probably sit him this week. N'Keal Harry's going to be a sit. Jacoby Myers, I liked in this matchup if Chris Harris Jr. wasn't playing. Looks like Chris Harris Jr. is going to play. I could see Myers having a good day still, but I'm going to sit him. Damiere Byrd, Larry Izzo, I'm sitting. Patriots defense, I'm going to start. I think they're going to be all right in this matchup. Then we got the Chiefs and the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes, you're obviously starting him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, please keep an eye out on him. He has been dealing with an illness the last couple days, hasn't practiced. They expect him to play tomorrow night, but if he doesn't, he's obviously a sit. If he does play, I might just kind of tamper my expectations from him. If I do have a pivot option, I might just go with that pivot option. Le'Veon Bell is going to be a sit unless Clyde Edwards-Helaire would miss. If he's the guy alone, he could have a lot of value, honestly. Then we got Tyreek Hill. You're going to start him. He's not going to have that big monster week that he had last week. They're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I guarantee that. Sammy Watkins was actually my wide receiver start of the week. I think he's a pretty solid wide receiver 3 this week. I think a lot of coverage is going to go to Hill and Kelsey, and he's going to be open a lot more often than not. Then Travis Kelsey is going to be a start. Chiefs defense, I think you can start as well, especially against Drew Lock and this Broncos offense. I know it's not Kendall Hinton, but it still should be pretty good for the Chiefs. Drew Lock is going to be a sit. Melvin Gordon is going to be a start. We'll see if he gets a couple more touches. Philip Lindsay's a little banged up with his knee. He's questionable, but it looks like he's going to play. So he's going to be a sit, though, either way. Tim Patrick, I do like in this matchup. I would start him. Jerry Jeudy, I'm not really interested in this matchup. He has been dealing with a little bit of ankle injury as well, so that could impact him as well. And then we got Noah Fant. I'm going to start Noah Fant in this matchup. I think he'll be pretty good for him. Broncos defense is obviously a sit. Then we get the Bills and the 49ers, and I think this is actually going to end up being a pretty interesting game. The Bills, I'm going to start Josh Allen. I don't think he's going to have the best game, kind of like what I said with Justin Herbert, low-end quarterback one territory. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, I'm not excited about starting either of these guys. I'm going to sit both of them. 49ers do have a pretty good defense. Stephon Diggs, I think he'll have a pretty good game. I'm going to start him. Cole Beasley is kind of the interesting one. If you're in a deeper PPR league, you can start him. Otherwise, I'd sit him. Gabriel Davis, I'm going to sit, but I will say there is a little bit of upside for him there. But I just don't trust him at this point in time. But I think he's definitely a guy worth stashing on the end of your bench. At Bills defense is going to be a sit for me. I know Nick Mullins isn't the greatest quarterback in the world. I know he hasn't played well, but the Bills defense has been very inconsistent. Nick Mullins is a sit. Raheem Mostert's going to be a start, and he should be doing pretty good in this matchup. Then we got Jeff Wilson Jr. He returned last week. He got like 12 carries. I think he'll do all right in this matchup. And both these guys could have pretty good games, but I'm going to sit Wilson Jr. at this point in time. We'll have to see if Tevin Coleman actually does return in this game. Then we got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Looks like they are both going to be healthy in this game. I'm going to start Samuel. I'm going to start Ayuk probably too, kind of like a wide receiver 3 flex play if I need to. Then we got Jordan Reed. He's a startable tight end in this matchup as well. He's been seeing about 6 targets a game. Definitely could be a good one for him, especially since Buffalo has struggled against tight ends for this year. 49ers defense, I do like starting them this week. I think the Bills will make some mistakes, and I think this will be a good game for them overall. Then we got the Washington football team and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Alex Smith, I'm going to sit. Very bad matchup for him. Antonio Gibson, I know a lot of people are hyping him up. I know he's been on a tear lately. But in the games where they've been trailing, he hasn't been quite as good. He's a running back 2 to me at this point in time. If you have running backs that are better, hats off to you, and you can bench them, then do so. But otherwise, you're going to be playing him. Then J.D. McKissick, he's going to be a solid start for me this week. I think he's going to get a lot of volume in the passing game. I think they're going to be down in this game, so it should be a pretty good game for him. Terry McLaurin, I do like. He's going to be a start this week. Logan Thomas is the interesting one here. You could probably start him if you don't have a better option, but if you have a better option, just go with your better option. Washington defense is going to be a sit. Then we got Ben Roethlisberger. I'm going to start him. I know it's not the best matchup in the world, but I think he's still kind of like a low-end quarterback 1 this week. James Conner, he's still on the COVID list. Looks like he's probably going to miss this game. In that case, you probably go with Benny Snell. Probably like a low-end running back 2 flex play at best. You can start him if you need to, but if you have better options, just play your better options. Juju, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. Not the best matchup for them overall, but I like Deontay Johnson. I like Chase Claypool. I think Juju's the one that's going to struggle the most in this matchup, so he's the one I'd sit. I'd start the other 2 at this point. Eric Ebron, I think, should have a decent game in this one as well. You can start him. Steelers defense, you're always starting. Then we got the Ravens and the Cowboys, and there's a lot of questions on the Ravens side. Will Lamar Jackson end up playing? If he plays, you obviously start him. If he doesn't, you're going to sit him. J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram should both be back in this game. We'll have to see how this running back situation shakes out. I'm not interested in starting any of these 4 running backs this week. I'm going to sit all 4 of them. Marquise Brown, I'm going to sit. I don't trust him. I know he did have that one broken play last week with Trace McSorley, but that's more dumb luck than anything. And then we got Mark Andrews. Looks like he's going to be out again, still on the COVID list. I believe he has actually a close contact, so he has to restart his process. But needless to say, he's going to be a sit. Ravens defense, I think you can play in this one. They should be pretty good. Andy Dalton's going to be a sit. Ezekiel, I would start. Just tamper your expectations for him. More of a running back 2 than anything. Amari Cooper, he's actually my sit of the week. I think him against Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey's going to eat him for breakfast. And it's going to be a bad day for Cooper. CeeDee Lamb, I kind of do like as a wide receiver 3 flex play in like a PPR type of league. I think out of the 3 wide receivers, he has the best matchup against Baltimore. Then Michael Gallup is going to be a sit as well for me. Dalton Schultz, I do like as a start this week, unless you have a clear better option at tight end. He should see a lot of targets in this game, especially with the wide receivers getting locked down on the outside. And with that being said, Dalton Schultz was actually my tight end start of the week, and he's a guy you want to play this week, next week, and in week 16. There's the 49ers in between there, so you'll have to find a different tight end in that time, but he's a guy that you can play most of the season. Cowboys defense is going to be a sit. Unless you get Trace McSorley starting at quarterback, then you could consider streaming the Cowboys defense. But these are my starts and sits for the 15 matchups for this week. Like I said, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. Just let me know who you're considering starting at the position and the scoring format as well. I might ask a couple more questions for details in there, like your matchup for the week and stuff like that, the rest of your roster. But just the basic is give me the options that you're looking at and the scoring format. But with that being said, if you guys need to reach out to me for any reason at all, feel free to do it, whether it's down in the comments at my email, coachcraigsports@gmail.com, on Twitter at CoachCraigSport, or on the Coach Craig Sports Facebook page. If you guys liked and enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. This is one of my favorite videos of the week, doing all the starts and sets, going through each game, and just kind of telling you guys the injury news as well along the way. But if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. It helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, and that's one for you, the viewers, trying to help you guys enjoy fantasy football more, get some more wins, get some more championships, and have more success overall. If you're a newer current subscriber who's yet to hit that notification bell, please do so as well. It lets you know every single time I post a video. Like I've been saying, posted about 5 videos a week, typically Monday through Thursday, and then on Saturday. Kind of looking for a filler video to do on Fridays as well. If you guys have any ideas for that as well, please let me know. Also, I have another video that's going to be coming out that I've been putting a lot of research into, and it's talking about the position players that would be the emergency quarterbacks for every single NFL team. And I think it's going to be an interesting video. I think it's going to be something a lot of people can learn from. Obviously, we saw Kendall Hinton step in after the Broncos quarterbacks were all unable to play. So I'm just trying to look through each team and see how that would look for every team in the NFL. I know ESPN kind of put an article out about that as well, but it was more of the emergency quarterback situation, and a lot of them were just quarterbacks that they either isolated from the team or something else like that. But they did miss a lot of guys that I think could fill that role on their respective teams. But with that being said, that's all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.